Hey everybody, this is the O.P.O.V podcast, episode 33. And today we have a special guest, McKeesport mayoral candidate, Fawn Walker-Montgomery. We're excited to have her here.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you.
So today is a special edition. We're having a conversation with the candidate. And while this is not an endorsement, we really feel like it's important for people to know what their options are. You do not have to pick someone just because that's the only person that you know or you feel like that's the only option you have. So we want to take this opportunity for you to get to know another option that you have as far as a mayoral candidate in McKeesport, Pennsylvania.
And to get out and vote. That's the most important thing. Make sure that your opinion and everything is felt. This is one of the cities that really needs it. So if you feel like that you're not getting the production you need, make sure that you vote to try to make that change.
Yes. So, Fawn, before we dive into questions, can you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So, born and raised here in McKeesport, lived here my whole life. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, community leader, activist, all of the above. A lot of things to a lot of different people, but at the end of the day, I care about McKeesport. I care about my hometown. I was on council here in McKeesport for 8 years. I have a BA in poli-sci and an MS in criminal justice administration. Outside of being in politics, I'm in social work. So I have over 15 years experience in human service management, just dealing with families and children just throughout Allegheny County. So I kind of bring the experience with politics as well as with social work, which I really don't separate because you have to care about anything that you're doing. And I definitely have that experience with bringing the level of understanding of what families actually really go through, especially in a community like McKeesport. So that's who I am, I suppose, in a nutshell. I was on council for 8 years, like I previously stated, and I sat there with the leaders and seen that they really just wanted to keep things the same here in McKeesport. Not really about change or just changing anything that we do around here. Modern technology wasn't really brought up. Anytime you brought up something that was different, it was always an issue. So as I sat there and I said, okay, well, Fawn, how are we really going to affect change in McKeesport? I said, I need to run for mayor. So basically that's why I'm running for mayor. I'm tired of seeing my hometown. So this isn't just any city, this is my hometown. On the news for crime, drugs, violence, low economic development, political corruption, scandals. I'm just frequently tired of it. So I want to be, involved on that level with the mayor position. The way that it is handled in McKeesport, we're going by home rule charter, so it gives the mayor strong power.
Okay, so what home rule charter, what does that mean?
It's like our mini constitution. So we're a home rule charter community. So everything that we do is pretty much ran by that charter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like our mini constitution. It was passed, I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe in the 70s.
Okay.
So it gives the mayor a lot of power, and it gives council the power to create committees, call for investigations, and vote.
Okay.
And it says the mayor only has to update council on, basically when he or she wants to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was on council, I really, really experienced that because we got updates basically when he wanted to update us on what was going on. There was nothing I said had to.
Right. Okay.
Because the charter pretty much gave the mayor the power to run the day to day.
Now, when you say mayor, you mean this current mayor, or
Any mayor.
or just period?
Right.
They wasn't bringing things to you guys' attention.
Right. When I was on council, no.
Yeah.
No, not when I was on council. It really depends on what it is and if they want to let you know or not. But I believe that's basically how it's been done, regardless of who's mayor.
Yeah.
That's how it's been done for the last several years.
That's really good information because I
was
did
about
not
to
know
say
that.
I did not know that either. I didn't either. So yes.
Yeah, we're a home rule.
Okay.
A home rule charter community. And it depends on where you're at in Allegheny County because we have the most counties in Allegheny County. I think we're second in the country.
Okay.
So like Duquesne has a charter, but they run different. So their mayor the council has no power, but the mayor has the power to vote over in Duquesne.
Okay.
So it depends on where you're at.
Okay.
Braddock, their council has more power than the mayor. The mayor just handles the police. So it really depends on where you're at
Okay.
and how it's structured.
Okay.
So just what I try to really understand is how things are structured before I try to go and change it. So understanding how it's structured is one of one of the reasons why
That's key.
Right.
running for the seat. I really want to focus on cleaning up the city.
Okay.
Really, one of my big focuses is crime, blights, and economic development. And when we talk about crime, you have to talk about it from the lens of that it's a symptom of poverty and inequality. So you have to address those two things. So with the crime, with the poverty, we definitely need job training, apprentice programs here in McKeesport. And I stress here in McKeesport because we have issues with transportation. We can't get to and from Pittsburgh. We can't get to and from a lot of places. It takes 2-3 buses to get to Monroeville, sometimes to Walmart. So you have to have those right here in McKeesport. When I was on council, I was over the Business District Authority, and we brought an entrepreneur class here. It was actually up the street at Mr. Key's place, and we had a training class, and we paid for it through tax credits, city tax credits, as well as through grant funding. So we can bring those programs here using the grant funding, using these state grants. And another big piece when you get grants is fiscal responsibility, because we have grants here now in the city of McKeesport, but the residents aren't feeling that as a whole.
Yeah, lose it. Yeah.
Right. So you ride around certain areas of McKeesport, you can see who's getting taken care of and who's not getting taken care of. So if you're going to get the grants, you have to be fiscally responsible. You have to have checks and balances in place. So when elected, and I always say when elected because I'm claiming this.
Yeah,
so when elected,
Mhm.
I plan on using the council more than we use them now, especially for checks and balances, for transparency. Because anybody can bring a grant in, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
What are you actually going to make sure it actually gets to the people that it actually needs? Actually needs to get to. I have a activist group called Take Action Long Valley that I co-founded in 2014, and we actually just got 3 grants, so we can do some expansion. Because our mission is to address community violence through activism and organizing.
Okay.
And we've had chapters in McKeesport and Duquesne, so now we get to expand. We have a full-time director. We have to pay our organizers.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So we're really excited, and we'll be able to train our organizers on things like fiscal responsibility, voting, how to go to council and school board meetings and present your case, just a gambit of things. So each
And that's important
It
because
is.
a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know, so they're scared to go and do new things.
Right.
But if you are someone who wants to do it, but just don't know the process, that's huge.
You don't want to sound
you don't want that. You don't know, so that's huge.
It's intimidating. I
Yes.
sat there for 8 years, and before I spoke up, I got nervous.
Yeah.
I had to get in the right state of mind. So it's definitely something that can, can be intimidating. And then we have a youth piece as well, so we have adult chapters and youth chapters. This is a big piece with crime because you can do all the youth development you want to, but then you send a youth back to an environment, you're not working with their parents, then it's not going to work.
Right, because I think that's a good question, and I think on our podcast previously we talked about adult mentoring and how do you there may be students in my child's school that she's friends with and I might not even know their parent. How do you begin to reach out to them, and if there's a problem, what's the best etiquette you would take to try to help them get in a better place? I think that can be difficult when you're working with peers.
Just parents, period.
Yeah.
Everybody. When somebody points out somebody's flaws, they feel like they have almost put up their guard.
Yeah, they get defensive. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Definitely, we've seen that a lot just with my work as a human service professional. I just think it's about how you approach people.
Absolutely.
With the judgmental piece, if you're coming off judgy, you're coming off not judgy. People just have to understand, where you're coming from. So it can't just be you're doing this wrong, because we all make mistakes as parents. We all do. None of us are perfect, but I think if you're just coming from a place of trying to help, talking with them, not at them, and doing it with them and not for them. Self-sufficiency is a big piece.
Well, see, the problem to me would be more so the parents that never learned and are ignorant, and the ones that became parents too young to be able to teach their kids. Right? Because a lot of people who might be stuck in bad times and stuff, they might not mature and develop until they might be like in their 40s or so. but they done had a kid and raised them when they was like 17, 18.
Right.
Might have been going in and out of jail because of what they was doing to get money, and now their kid only knows that. But then you're putting that kid in the same room as somebody who has like the family core and values and is stable. That's a tough.
It really is.
balance.
It really is. It really is.
And I don't know if that you can never solve that, but you just will have to have the parents get involved more with
More
like
parent involvement.
like more like PTA meetings and stuff like that, and everybody get to learn each other like that.
Right.
But as far as the homes go, there's always going to be that imbalance.
Right, and but I think also as citizens, could we say that the responsibility is kind of on us, where it's like, I am my brother's keeper, and I'm responsible for encouraging you, you know, in a way to maybe do better.
Yeah.
Not so much like forcing your thought
Right.
process, but let people know when they're doing a good job, or
Yeah.
maybe
Positive reinforcement is good, definitely, because especially when it comes to those adults, this borderline adults and still like 18, 19, you see them doing something good, applying for a job instead of. That's why I love that my son went to the army
Yeah.
and he's not around here. You know what I mean? Because as far as the positive reinforcement, like Fawn was saying, we always do negative instead of positive, but I think that could help out a lot. But a lot of people don't know how to do positive reinforcement.
they don't.
That's the problem
Yeah.
too.
And positive positioning, because you can get the same point across by positively positioning something versus saying, well, you shouldn't do that like that.
And then a lot of
Or,
people
you
will
know,
tell you what you're doing wrong, but won't have a resolution
Right.
to the issue.
So the programs that you're trying to or will bring to the city, will you look for the people that's in the community to fill those positions that'll be needed?
Yes, so you would have to live in that community.
Okay,
So we
okay.
have chapters in different
Nice.
areas. So we have a chapter here in McKeesport and Duquesne. So the organizer will have to live in that community.
Okay.
Because we do SWOT analysis, which is a strength, weakness, opportunity, starts with each chapter, and then they develop their own community action plan.
Okay.
So it could look different from McKeesport to Duquesne to East Pittsburgh. East Pittsburgh might want a blue couch, McKeesport might want a purple couch. It depends on where you live at. So it has to be people who actually live there doing their community action plan. So then we'll go off of that action plan what the interventions are going to look like.
Okay.
Because you have to have some kind of ownership with it. And I don't know Duquesne because I don't live in Duquesne.
Right.
But I know McKeesport.
Right.
McKeesport.
Right.
So it has to be structured off of that particular community. And every community is different. So
Right.
it definitely have to be people who live there.
Okay.
Now, I have a question.
Okay.
So I hear you talk a lot about status quo politics.
Yes.
What are the main things that you feel like sets you apart from your opponent?
Well, definitely the caring piece. The status quo politics, I am not a status quo politician. So status quo politics, somebody who goes along with the team. Who goes along with the team are the elected officials. Who doesn't like change, doesn't produce any kind of change. Somebody who scratches the backs of other elected officials. Somebody who just kind of plays the game of politics. That is not me. I've been in politics for a very long time at this point. I've never got into the team politics and doing what's best for my colleagues. I do what is best for the people at every turn. So that's what I feel like kind of sets me apart from my opponent. He's been in there for 8 years now as mayor, but he's been in politics locally for probably over 12 years.
Okay.
At this point. And when you talk a lot about economic development, you have to look at the fairness, transparency, and reform piece to that. That is really big in McKeesport. Of course, we have issues with race and discrimination, but we also have issues with opportunities.
Right.
Only people in certain areas, you got to know someone to know someone to know someone to get anything around here. I mean, he's a perfect example of that. Actually, in 2015, he had a house built for himself under a program that actually,
and I believe that was in the paper too.
yeah, it was a.
But for people who don't know, can you explain what happened?
Sure. It was actually investigated by Channel 4 Action News. So, it was called the Vacant Property Review Board. I believe that's the program that he went under, and he wanted to, I guess, build his house, make it bigger, I suppose. So there was a lady living next door to him and took her house under eminent domain. used the program, which was funded by tax dollars.
Because the house was abandoned.
Her house wasn't. Her
Okay.
house wasn't. But so he took her house off eminent domain, so she had to leave her house.
Wait,
her house.
can you explain that?
What
does that mean?
eminent domain?
Yes.
So that means that if you own a property and maybe you're not taking care of it, you're not keeping it up, then the city or government that you're in can take it off of eminent domain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was that the lady's case though? Was her property not being?
I don't know all the details
Okay,
of her
okay.
how it was looking,
Okay.
but I know she was elderly.
Okay.
She was an elderly woman.
So
Wow.
so he did that.
He did that, and then the program, and this is why Channel 4 investigated, the program was never really used by anybody except for him. He was the first.
So can we use that program?
They say there's no more money.
After he built his house.
After he built his house.
Okay,
After he
okay.
I
built
wonder
his
if he
house.
gave her some money to take her house. Like,
I
he
don't
was
know.
sad.
I don't know if he gave her any funds, but she was on the news too.
Oh.
She was on the news to talk about it.
Okay.
She was on, and there's a lot more that goes in eminent domain. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more that goes with it and the process and how
Okay.
how they were able to actually do it. But there was a program that nobody knew about. He was the only one to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes
And
back
now
to
it's
that.
over.
So now it's over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This
that's-
is, they say that the money's run out. Last time that I told somebody to go down, because I was in 2015. So when I had somebody, I said, well, go down and ask about the program. And they said, oh, well, there's no money left. So that's why Channel 4 looked into it. So it's the only program, you're the only one to ever use the funds.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Wow.
That is crazy to me that you could just have somebody who is a seated mayor
Right.
get their own
I
house.
feel like I
built.
remember something about
Yeah,
that.
I remember
like, you know
it.
what I mean?
I
Like I
know,
feel like
Because I felt like this could be something good that people could take advantage of.
Yeah, yes.
But unbeknownst to me, nobody else could take advantage of
Nobody
it.
else can take advantage of it.
So-
Yeah. So that's that fairness and transparency.
Right.
piece.
So, and I think because of course we're all McKeesport residents, and we care about our city. And I feel like this. I don't know this, but I feel like there's money here.
Oh yeah.
And when I look around, I'm like, why does it look like this?
Yeah.
There's money
I
there,
want a
but you don't
beautiful
see
city.
it, and we should be
Right.
able to see it. We
Right.
should be able to
Yeah.
see it.
Right.
Something with Halo
Yeah.
lights.
Mhm.
And I think the thing that sets us apart from a lot of the places in the Mon Valley is we're at this point where we can really, it wouldn't take us long to turn around if funds are used appropriately. That's the way I feel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. There's definitely a lot of money here. A lot of money that could come here. We have cheap real estate. We have so much land, and we could be attracting industry from other places to come here to McKeesport. We have abundance of properties over here, so we get a lot of money that could be coming here. But we're always left out of development conversations. Everybody talks about Pittsburgh. No one talks about the Valley. McKeesport is the second largest city in Allegheny County. But you wouldn't know because no one really speaks of us, especially in
Except
the
for
development.
about crime.
Right,
Yeah,
especially
about
crime.
crime. Yes.
Yes, that they highlight that. Somebody, it doesn't have to happen here, but if you're from here, they'll say, so-and-so from
Yeah.
McKeesport.
Yes, they're on the news at
Right.
least once a week, and it's really,
Right.
it's really
For
sad.
something bad.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad.
So we definitely opportunities here for development businesses to come here. We have small business here, been here now for like over 75 years.
And I feel like that has a lot to do with, the crime rate being so high. There's nothing here. There's nothing for anyone to be like, they bringing this here. Like we got, to motivate them to want to be better, to do better, because they see better when they open up their doors, and they see better. They go downtown McKeesport, they see good things happening, so they will want to do better.
We got a whole riverfront down there not being used.
Right.
I know.
Right.
And I remember, like, even when we were younger, we used to, in the summertime, go down there and watch movies. That was a nice thing for the community. But I don't see that.
I mean, they still be
anymore.
having like the little concerts up Brinzy and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
But
I
not-
feel like with social media now, you know what I'm saying? A lot more people could hear about it or, or whatever. But, they still do those little.
Yeah.
Out at Renzi.
Yeah.
Out at Renzi. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that there recently, well, not too long ago, there was an article. I want to say it was something I read about existing businesses complaining about how it
Fifth
looks
Avenue.
here. Yeah, that, and I
Yeah.
felt really bad about that. So I mean, what could our city do about that, or what would you do about that?
Because everything around that school area and everything seems okay, but it starts when you start getting to the inner city part. It seems like no one cares.
Like
about
downtown
that.
McKeesport,
That's
whenever
the
they
first
was
time.
doing whatever they was doing, where Midtown is at, I thought that was being redeveloped. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They
like
just
they was
left it.
closing things
Yeah.
and they was doing,
And they just left
you
it
know.
like
So I'm
that.
thinking like, oh, they about to, you know, do
Build,
something
yeah.
down there because that's a perfect spot, and you know
Mhm.
that used to be the spot. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Back in the day, so there was a lot of businesses down there. So that's what I thought that was going to happen, but not so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Not so much.
But even the KFC down there to the Dollar General, or whatever that is down there, that's taking jobs away from people because there's probably like 3 times as many workers out of KFC than there is out of Dollar General.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have enough Dollar Generals, Family Dollars.
And-
We do.
Oh,
you
my
know,
goodness.
Oh my goodness,
We
yes
have
we
enough
do.
of those.
And I look at it like, is that all we deserve? Is that, you know what I'm saying? Is that all we
Right.
deserve? That's what we need? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like, and I'm gonna be honest, them building that Family Dollar, I felt like that was a slap in the face. Like, what was that for?
Why do
Why
Family
did they do
Dollar
that?
and Dollar General target look income areas?
Because it's lucrative to the
Lucrative
business.
to them.
And I look at it like that's the only places we can shop at. Or Dollars is
Our
only
Family Dollar's the new
Family
liquor
Dollar
store. That's
worthy
crazy.
or Dollar General
Yeah, but
worthy.
if
Like, you know
if
what I
we
mean?
pay attention to the prices, when you pay regular price, a lot of their products are more expensive than Walmart.
Oh, it is.
I
Yeah,
mean,
some of them hike up the prices.
Yeah.
It won't be the
Certain
same portion value. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So Walmart will have a bigger portion, so it might seem like it costs more. But
Mhm.
when you get it from Family Dollar, it's either going to be a replica product or it's going to be less.
Right.
yeah,
But
so-
if you don't have transportation, where you gonna go?
right.
Right. Yeah, that's a big piece of this. There's most people in McKeesport, they don't have cars.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a convenience store right there, it's not really
Yeah,
convenient
it
price
is.
wise.
But
Or
it's
maybe even the way they
mhm,
treat you.
mhm.
But you got to go there because it's the closest thing to you. So I was on council when the Family Dollar came, and that's what we were thinking about. Like, there's something we can put here where people can actually walk to, they can actually get there. So that's where our minds were at. Well, you cannot sustain a family off of Family Dollar.
No, you can't.
So that's why we need more family sustaining jobs here. But to answer your question about the panhandling, so I was at that meeting where the business owners came. They were on Fifth Avenue.
Mhm.
That was Minerva's, a couple other businesses, and they've been there about over 60 years.
Yeah.
So like generational businesses. So they came to talk about the panhandling
Yeah, it is
and
bad.
the drugs on Fifth
And
Avenue.
we want them to stay. We don't want
Right.
them to think
Right.
about leaving.
Right. So they were asking just for the area to be cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, why don't they to clean up that Tube City area, like around that area?
his
Where is
response
he?
to them was he didn't know. And they were like,
But he
well,
drives around all the time.
that was they were saying was on Fifth Avenue. So
Like that's a main street.
right, it's on Main Street.
Where all
His
your-
office is right down the street.
Yeah, he got all the
Yeah, so it's,
I
signs
mean,
up right there.
he could turn off and just don't even go. You know what I'm saying? Bang that left right there by the
So
Sunoco,
bang that left.
and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Head on out to
Yeah,
wherever
so
he's
the
going.
city's
Like, you know what I
good
mean?
in
So
a sense.
he,
I was
you know.
young.
yeah,
But you cannot miss that. Like, if you're
Yeah.
downtown McKeesport,
Zombie
you
land.
cannot miss that. And I
Bad.
walk down there, like, you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, I need to bring my mace. Like, if I gotta walk,
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying, through there, you know, so and it's a lot that goes on down there, like, you know what I mean, because the shop and save is down there, like, you know what I mean, and people's down there trying to get their couple of dollars by running jitneys, so it's
Yeah,
just like
it's
a
a
lot. The
lot.
dentist is right there,
Yeah,
like, it's a lot
it's
going on right
for-
there,
yeah,
and then a bar, like,
It
you
should
know,
not be.
like,
That's
yeah,
a bad
like,
mixture.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's just
And then it make people not even probably want to go to that dentistry.
exactly.
Right.
The
I know
bar is right
that's-
across the street.
That's one.
It'll be
It's
booked.
not,
Yeah.
it's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why I won't go to that shop and save.
No,
Unless
that's not
like-
the same. That the
yeah,
product
that
be
shop
locked
said
down.
was horrible.
Yeah, the product
Yeah.
be down in that shop
Clean.
too.
The
Yeah.
store's
Barbie.
dirty, but
Yeah,
I
It
wasn't
smells
gonna go
funny,
there.
too.
But
it well, it definitely is.
But that's another thing that we would have to do though too, is try to get some type of other than Giant Eagle. Well, I guess we got all these works, I guess.
Yeah, we got a couple different grocery
I like
stores.
Aldi.
Yeah,
But
all
they
these
definitely
works.
need to do something with that particular shop and say. But to
But that's
me,
like he owns that though, right?
Who?
Like that's like a family-owned business, though, right?
I believe the shop and save is, but it's just a
That's
testament of the city and what they let happen in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why doesn't look at that if they're by giant eagle?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
you have to clean it. So when elected, I would really look into, there's a model called Safe Streets model, and it looks at really defining panhandling.
Okay.
So we would have to really do some research on, and like quantitative research and qualitative.
Mm-hmm.
Look at data.
Right.
What does our panhandling look like? Who's
Right.
doing the panhandling?
Right.
What time of the day?
But even with the panhandling, what would you do with the panhandlers?
Mhm.
That's the main
Well, I
thing.
do not think that they should be put in jail.
Yeah.
I do not agree with that over policing method. They're always locking people up and just throwing away the key. I think it's a mental health issue. A lot with panhandling. So I think we really have to do that research on how it looks to us and then make a team. So at the Safe Streets model, they look at really making a team of people to look into with residents and with
Right.
business owners.
Just so y'all know, they're doing that downtown Pittsburgh because just a few weeks ago there was an issue about the panhandlers down there as well. So
Oh, that's been going on for
and that's where some of the business owners was like, what are you going to do? Like, you know, no matter what you do, they're still going to be there because to a point, like, you really can't control that, you know, what people do or if they feel they need to do that. And so other people saying it was deterring people away. So, and it is, like, you know what I'm saying? But down there on Fifth Avenue, it could deter you away. But if you clean it up, because regardless of what down Pittsburgh, they're going to get customers. They're going to lose some, but then they're going to gain some.
Right.
In the city of McKeesport, you're going to lose, and then you're going to keep losing, and then it's going to keep
don't
looking
get it.
bad. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
So I can tell you downtown, when I worked in the U.S. Steel Tower, if I go on my lunch break, I knew where the panhandlers were, and there might be a store that I would have to walk past them to get there. But my only thought was, well, I gotta walk past these people. But that wouldn't stop me from going. Here, I'm not going down there.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
yes.
the panhandlers we be having here be like you said, it be, if they don't do it as a job, it's like more of a mental health thing. It seems like downtown, a lot of them be doing that like it's their job. Like they might have issues too, but it just seems like it's weird because when you say there, it seemed like I seen somebody go to the gas station. It was an older white lady. The dude might have been my age or a little younger. Shirt off, everything. He took them guns to her car and started asking her for money. I'm thinking like, man, if that was anybody else, you might have got shot.
Right.
They won't do that downtown. They won't. Everybody won't walk up to you downtown. You know what I mean? So it's just it's weird here. It's very weird.
It's more scattered downtown. There's more area.
Yeah,
Just
way more
McKeesport, right?
area, yeah.
So, but it's not by coincidence that it's concentrated in one area. McKeesport is big, so why don't you have panhandling here? It's concentrated, you know, in that
area,
in that
in
one
that
particular
area.
It's just concentrated there, and the way to answer that is to not lock them up, to not put them there, just get out of jail. You have to have a community action plan around that, where residents, business owners sit into how are we going to address this. We don't have any shelters around here, especially any day shelters for them to go to get resources. We need to work with Montauk more to make sure that they're addressing it. Why are we
And
not
there's
out
space for that. There's properties. There's
Yep.
there's so many things that could be done here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not being done. It's almost like this is what they want to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
We had
Yeah, because I feel like with all the money here, I want to be able to see where all those dollars are going instead of in your pocket or to your house.
Yeah, you want to be able to,
Like-
you want to literally, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to see where it's,
and that's what anything that you're, you know what I'm saying, like you putting your money into, like, you know, if I'm paying my taxes, I want to be able to see if my kid is in youth program and I'm paying all this money for my kid to play, you know what I'm saying, I want to be able to see that, like, you know what I'm saying, in some way. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but we don't see that. So whenever you do not see that, you're like, I'm not doing that, like, or you know what I'm saying, like, it's just like, you know. So we talked about downtown. I know that you were what was I about to say about the school, like, you know what I'm saying, because that plays a huge part of the city of McKeesport as well, the school district, and you know what's going on up there, because they have our kids for hours out of the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's, they're responsible for our children. So I know you were involved with the
Black Student Union.
The Black Student Union. I keep forgetting about you know that. So I wanted to know, and this is one of my questions, how do you feel about them having a police station up there and a probation office right in the school?
I do not agree with that.
Okay.
I'm completely against them having their own police force. I think it's a ridiculous idea.
Okay.
I do not see any data or any logical reasoning for them to do that at all. Literally at all.
Okay.
The school shootings that occur in suburban areas, we don't have those concerns in McKeesport. We have the violence concerns outside of the school. Of course, kids fight all the time. But the answer is to not create your own police force. I think it's fiscally irresponsible for them to even waste the money using them.
So my question is too, like, so does the mayor have any say so or like a say in the things that they do in the school district?
Unfortunately,
like, should
no.
it be in,
Unfortunately,
so I didn't know that.
Because McKeesport Area School District is more of a regional school.
Okay.
So it includes McKeesport,
That's
White
good
Oak,
information to know.
Versailles,
So how did they come up with that plan? Like that's weird.
A lot of areas do that, especially if it's a bigger area. So Woodland Hills is made up of several different communities. So McKeesport is bigger, so there's several different communities. It's just called McKeesport Area School District.
No, but like, so Woodland Hills, they have the probation office. And,
you're talking about that model?
Yeah, why would they do
that model? I think it's a lack of cultural understanding and cultural responsibility.
Okay.
They see violence and they see black kids, black and brown kids getting all this violence, and they're saying, "Oh, but we need more police."
Okay.
That is not always the answer.
But I'm surprised now, because I'm surprised with the number of people involved in the school board, the number of people of color that they would allow that to go down without a fight. You know what I mean? Because the school to prison pipeline is real.
Yes.
And I just feel like in our area, given the issues that we face, that's kind of like setting our children up for failure.
Totally agree.
So I'm surprised with particularly the people of color not on.
And I know what because we don't necessarily know their views on it, like, you know what I'm saying, or if, because there's so few of us that their vote didn't match, like, you know what I'm saying, they were outvoted anyway, like, you know what I'm saying. So
I feel like the issue flew under the radar. Like, you really, unless somebody told me about it, like, it wasn't like.
It wasn't out there. It wasn't out there. It wasn't out there.
Like,
and in their defense again, I'm going to hit you with. You know what I'm saying? They are probably looking at it like, what else is there to do? These kids are out of control at these kids at this school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they might feel like this is their last, this is their last resort because we didn't try to do this thing. Like, we didn't try to get the parents more involved. If your kid is disrespectful at home, what do you think is going to happen at these schools? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that that's the answer, but they may think that is okay for, you know what I'm saying, to do that. Whereas they need more education. They need more diversity. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they need these people, like these parents, to not be intimidated about going up to the school board meetings and being involved in their kids' lives and, going to the office. If you feel like something ain't right, demand a meeting with the principal or the superintendent. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like, a whole group effort, just like with the city. I mean, like, it's all a group effort. Like, so, I just think that there is a lack of parent involvement, and that goes with the community because the parents are the adult members in the community. So they're not being responsible, period. Like on that end or far as their city. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we need more of those people.
I definitely think doesn't say the parent piece is a part of it, but to me, if you have a whole entire school district of educators, the fact that they think that is the answer is the problem.
Right.
Like, they're educated enough to understand culture.
Right. Because it's like the bad seeds, we'll just throw them away. You know what I mean? And there has to be a better answer than that. I don't ever want to look at somebody's child like, just get him out of here. He don't do
I don't
nothing
wanna
but
do it all.
cause trouble. Just get him out of here.
Mhm.
There has to be something that can be done, or some way that we can get to these kids other than throwing them in jail.
There's a lot of things that can be done. People are doing it every day.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
there's school districts who are teaching kids about violence
Mhm.
prevention.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did with the Black Student Union, and this is what I always try to tell people, like, I'm not the answer as an elected official. Elected officials are not the answer. You all are the answer.
Mm-hmm.
We are just
Put in place,
We're
yes.
just put in place to be able to advocate for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not the answer, neither is the present mayor, neither is the school board.
Mhm.
You are the answer.
Mhm.
So with the Black Student Union, that was a Take Action on Valley thing, which was a Take Action on Valley's community-driven group.
Okay.
So the kids came to us
Mhm.
and were basically complaining that they felt like they were being singled out when it came to suspension rates,
Yeah.
the dress code, just overall just didn't feel comfortable
Mhm.
being
Mhm.
black
Okay.
in that particular school. So we brought those things up in support of these kids because we wanted to make sure that they weren't alone.
Yeah.
It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever been through in my life.
Mhm.
It was just a Black Student Union.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't even begun to scratch the surface of the issues that go on up there. If you look at the numbers, the way that they're failing tests up there,
Mm-hmm.
their reading skills, their math skills among Black and brown kids, it's really bad.
Mhm.
So we didn't even get to that. The babies just wanted a Black Student Union. Yeah, the sue them, had to call the ACLU. The school district lost $10,000 of the money that don't have.
Mhm.
But they fought us tooth and nail just over Black Student Union that they were going to lose anyway because it's your constitutional right.
Mhm.
Literally, just a Black Student Union. That spoke volumes to me.
Mhm.
The response from the superintendent and some members of the school board was just flat out, to me, just flat out discriminatory.
Okay.
Well, there's no problem here. I had a Black son.
Mm-hmm.
None of this. Just this.
Mhm.
What?
That is
Like,
Yeah.
what does that have to do with anything?
Right.
Like, clearly there's a problem here with these kids,
Right.
and then taking it so personal.
Mhm.
You know, it was just ridiculous.
And you know what I can say as far as a Black Student Union, I wasn't aware of a Black Student Union until I got to college.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's something that I didn't know existed,
Mhm.
yet I didn't even know that I needed.
But we definitely needed it, right?
We did.
Nothing. If you could get them on a high school level doing it, that would be great.
Right.
Mhm.
Because you want to change the environment, right?
Mhm.
We've been talking about that a lot. So now we have killing and violence. And
Well, it'll prepare them for college or whatever they want to do.
Whatever
after
they want to
school.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and as long as it's a group that's inclusive,
Mhm.
it's not exclusive, it's inclusive.
Yep.
So while we do focus on African Americans
Mhm.
and issues that African American students deal with, anybody is able to participate.
Right.
Right. And the kids said that about 8 times.
Yeah.
Right.
They said we want Black and white kids, but
Yeah.
the focus is going to be Black
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
And that's not bad.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not bad, but it could be intimidating for other races.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Just like Black
because
Lives
it
Matter.
says black. Like,
Black-
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So because you said, you know, I'm Latino or whatever, and you know, you said it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the main focus is going to be, you know what I'm saying, for everybody. But ultimately, it's the Black Student Union. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I
So,
feel
like, you know, that person might feel, you know, that some type of way about that. So,
That I can understand why you would, but I think that you being intimidated is your problem, and don't make your problem my problem. Me feeling pride in myself and wanting to do better for myself does not diminish anything that has to do with you.
exactly.
And hopefully you would share in the joy of me taking pride in myself and wanting to do better.
Right, and that goes for like the Black people too. Like if they had a Latino student union,
Right.
like you know
As
what I'm
they
saying,
should,
like
yeah.
you.
All of that.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm going over here to them because it's the Latino, so I'm gonna feel like it's, you know, geared more towards or whatever. So I don't know.
I know,
I just-
and I know
Huh?
that.
Yeah.
I know that in college we definitely made it a point to participate in other groups' functions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? To learn different things.
Right.
Even if they had a dancing night or
Right.
something dealing with food. And we had a group who maybe English was their second language. We
Mhm.
wanted people to talk about their experiences
Okay.
coming to the United States and how they were able to cope with the difference from here versus their native country.
Yeah. And I think it's weird to me in McKeesport that we don't do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have discussions about culture, diversity,
Yeah.
inclusion,
Okay.
and that when it's brought up, it's people get so upset when we talk about race around here. I don't know why, because it's happening. It exists. There's clear issues with discrimination and race here. We have to address it. A lot of times people don't want to talk about crime, violence, or race, or it just makes people so uncomfortable. And it was always odd for me, you know, because you went to high school, it was always odd for me to be in those spaces. Because I never understood why we couldn't talk about being black or Latina, or white, or gay, or whatever. Like, why can't we have these discussions in a culturally healthy environment and really get to something like how people are feeling? But around here, it's just so, oh, well, you know, we can't say that. Yes, you can. You have to be able to express who you are, regardless of who you are. You have to be able to have those conversations, and we don't have them. And that kind of goes back to that inequality piece of everybody feeling so oppressed and so used to that. And people are just like, yeah, this is how it is. I hear that all the time. Fawn, this is just how it is. It's just how it is. Well, no, it's not how it is.
It doesn't have to be that way. So hopefully, whenever you win, this election, that the programs that you have ready to go, and this will help us move forward to address all of these issues. As far as like the parents, like, you know what I'm saying, being more motivated to come to the classes or whatever is right here in McKeesport, so we can do better.
Definitely.
So we can do better as a community, like, you know what I'm saying. So
now I think, well, because you are a known activist in the community who deals with heated issues specific to racism, how do you respond to people who perceive your campaign as divisive?
I respond to that by telling people that I am fighting for the rights of people. This is an issue of humanity.
Okay.
So it's not even really about race to a certain degree, because what I fight for is people not being murdered, people not being killed, people not being discriminated against based off of race, color, sexual orientation, all of the above, all the classes that you could think of. So it's not really a divisive thing more than it is I'm fighting for humanity. People want to be treated equally. Everybody deserves to be treated equally. I am responding to what is happening in this world. So I'm not doing it. I'm not harassing myself. I'm not killing myself. I'm not killing black and brown people. It's the system doing those things. And it's been doing that for several years. You have a broken system, period. And we have to fix that. So sometimes I do hear that piece around, oh, you hate police. Oh, you hate white people. No, I absolutely do not. And I don't hate police. My stepdad is a cop. But I am for police accountability. I think that everybody should be held accountable at their job.
I'm a everybody accountability. Like it doesn't matter who you are. You need to be responsible and held responsible if that's what needs to be. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's what needs to happen.
Because at my job, I'd be held accountable.
As
a matter of fact, I try my best to hold myself accountable first before somebody gotta do it for me.
Everybody's accountable.
It don't sting as much. If you do it for yourself, it don't sting as much. So.
And I've been on the front lines of black and white people. So I've been out there advocating, protesting, fighting with black people, white people, Latino people, gay people, straight people, trans people, all people. Just because this is about humanity. So it's not, the way I see it is not really about divisive or it's just calling things to attention that need to be called into. And institutional racism is a big piece, especially around here when we talk about fairness, transparency, and reform. It's really huge around here, and making sure that you shouldn't have to know somebody to get a business or to know who owns a house. But it's simple things. Like when I knock on doors, I'm talking to people. They're like, and this is black and white. This is anybody. You know, I just try to figure out who owns. I want to buy this house, or I want to buy that building. But no one called me back. They won't let me know who owns the building. There's this program. So and so got the money. I didn't get the money, and I called and I asked, and I did everything I was supposed to do. So, it has to be an open, transparent environment where you're open. Everybody's open to opportunities. If you have that, then you'll have more community trust.
Right, and because I do have a master's degree in regional planning, and I tried to get a job with the city. Do you know how hard it is to find job postings for the city?
So true.
Like, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So I think that goes along with transparency. I even was able to get contact information to somebody directly, and this person, who I will not name, responded by saying they were honest and was like, "You'll be better off trying to get a job with the county than you will here."
No. Yeah.
So
That's sad.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. I've never even seen a job posting, and I was on council, and I've never seen a job posting. Like if you go on their website, I've
That's
never
sad.
seen a job posting.
Right.
That's sad.
After this, after this airs, I'm sure they'll have some.
And I look at it too, like I feel like McKeesport could be so much, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I always promote McKeesport School District. It's an awesome school district to me. Like you know what I'm saying. It just needs, you know what I'm saying, to move over into 2019. Like you know what I'm saying. Things need to be shaken up or whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the program and the opportunities that those kids have up there are outstanding. Like they just got to know about them and go. You know what I'm saying, and you know take advantage of it. Like
But
you know what I mean.
I think it is with the community. I think a lot of people don't have the mindset of elected officials work for us.
Yeah.
We put you in office.
That's right.
You need to represent me.
Yep.
So we really need to be more forthcoming with what we want and ask for. So a lot of that responsibility is on us to say, look, this is what we want and this is what we want.
A lot of people don't know that though. Like a lot of people don't know that. Like it just piggybacks off of what you were saying earlier. If they were young and they had the kids and they didn't get the knowledge, they just passing that down. Like you don't know. If you don't know if you've never been involved or had something happen to you personally, you'll never know what's going on in the outside world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, I didn't know, and I have 3 high school graduates from McKeesport School District, but I didn't know what was really going on until something happened to my kid, where I had to be, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to be like, what is going on in here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, if I'm one of those parents, like I could escape past, like with all 5 of them, because they going on a roll, high on a roll, graduating. I'm like, they good. Like you know what I'm saying? They in this, that, and the third. Like
that don't have nothing to do with it, so you're not concerned. You're not even thinking.
There's a lot of us out there. Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of us out there. Like you know what I'm saying? So you're not aware until something personally happens to you, or you don't care until something personally happens to you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And see, that goes along with a lot of people working for the city that's not in the inner city. They're not there, so they don't really care. So a lot of stuff may be unfinished and things like that. Right. And they might allocate the money somewhere else. Right. Just because they don't really care, because they don't live it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's always been a struggle with me when I started in politics, because I have that idea of I'm a servant to the people, and they look at me like I got 6 heads. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to do for you? I serve you. A lot of people thought I worked for the mayor when I was on council. I didn't. I said I worked for you all. You all elected me in that particular position. So I mean, I blame our leaders, because it's been this way for so long. They haven't empowered people, allowed people to be involved in decision making. Everything has been so held off, closed down, unless you know someone that knows someone. So I blame them for that leadership style and people accepting that, because it's been like that for centuries around here. It's just not in McKeesport, it's Allegheny County. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But I blame the leaders for that. But it has always been a struggle with getting people to understand their power until something happens to them. Even though I see it because I live here. And you can just look, you can walk outside and look at what's going on, but it's been hard for some people to, you know, for me to get them to be motivated around being in. That's like an ongoing struggle, I would say.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be involved in the city and go to the city board meetings or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't even know, like, where to begin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who's going to be there, first of all? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I should know that. Being that I'm a resident of McKeesport, like, I should know those things. Like, who is under the mayor? Like, who's the point? Like, you know what I'm saying? That should just be community knowledge. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know that. So, if I knew that, just for, you know, the community putting that out there, or whoever, you know, I wouldn't be as intimidated. As, you know what I'm saying? Being involved. So there's a lot of that in the city of McKeesport. You know, just not knowing. You just don't know.
Right. Don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And if you know better, you do better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, that's the plan.
That's the goal.
Yeah, so.
According to a study done by the National Council for Home Safety and Security, McKeesport is ranked as the 4th most dangerous city in the United States. How do you plan to tackle the crime rate here?
Mm-hmm. Well, that study, I don't know their sample size or what they were using. I don't really agree that we're 4th. I do not agree with that at all.
I kind of thought that was given all of the cities in the United States. That's how
I think that's a bit exaggerated. But the way I look at it, there's still an issue with crime here in McKeesport. I mean, those numbers are people. They represent grieving families. So it needs to be addressed. So definitely the crime is the symptom of poverty and inequality. So definitely with the job creation piece, I talked about bringing those programs here, making sure that money is being distributed properly to the areas that's supposed to be distributed to. Like I said, because we have a lot of grants here, but the people who need it aren't getting it. So almost feel like sometimes we're preaching to the choir. So we'll have those programs, it's the same kids like my daughter, who most of doesn't need all those kind of programs because she hears that at home a lot. But the kids who are doing the shootings, the parents who know the kids are doing the shootings ain't getting those grant funds. They're not getting to the people that it needs to get to.
Those disruptive kids in the school.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those kids is hanging out on the corner and might get picked up for curfew. You know, those kids looking for trouble. Like those.
Those are the, so we need to make sure that it's getting to them and their families, to their environment. Literally, we have to change the environment around here in McKeesport. But the blight goes along with crime as well. So we need to tear down the houses we need to tear down, but we can also save a lot of these houses. So we have an idea to have a program for youth to train them on how to build the houses back up, put it back on the tax rolls, because we can save some we need to tear down. But we also need a process for how to tear these houses down. I don't, nobody knows there's a demolition list. But there is a demolition list. But there's no process for how to get your house on a demolition list. So what we need to do is have all of this online. So when everything's going to be online. We're going to have property data. Like Pittsburgh.
That's how it should be.
That's the information. That's why we don't know, because it's not available.
That would make that program so much easier for people that want to buy houses that
But to me, this information is hidden for a reason. You know what I mean?
Let us get the scraps.
No, to keep us where we're at. To keep us stuck. You know, just keep us stuck. And some people will be okay with being stuck if nothing is happening. Like if it's not going bad, if it's not good, I'm stuck right here. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Whereas though, if you see it and you are aware of it, you could have something to look forward to. That house over there is only $10,000, and my uncle can put up drywall, and I could do this, that, and the third. They'll be more eager to do that. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that's important, but we don't know.
And there's people who have felony records who might be certified in masonry. And they might want to start their own business. That would be an opportunity that they could have. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So we can have apprenticeships. Another idea we had was to have a community scholarship fund, so the kids can be involved in activities. So my daughter does cheerleading. That's expensive. So it costs money to have your kid involved in these pro-social activities. So if we had a community scholarship fund, we can get a grant from a local foundation, and then people in the community can also put money in it. And it could be an application process. So if you want to get your child into, soccer or football or cheerleading or any particular sport, then you can go in that fund, and then we can give you money to buy the uniforms. If it's traveling team, you got to pay for traveling gas down there. Sometimes you got to stay in hotels down there. So we can put all that in a particular fund. And we have all these churches here. So we have over 20 churches. So if we get them churches.
A long time ago, I thought that I had heard from somewhere that McKeesport had the most churches of any city in the world.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, we want them to open up.
My history teacher when I was in college, when he found out
Mm-hmm.
I was from McKeesport, he told me that, and he wanted me to actually do a project to go around and take pictures.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of historical churches, you know, right here in
Landmark.
McKeesport. Yeah.
We do have a lot, so we need to use them.
Right.
So if they open up on a Friday or Saturday night, and they can be called a safe spot. So the kids can just go in there, and I don't know, churches can do whatever they can, show a movie, talk to them.
I know that one church do that on
Rainbow.
Yeah.
They
Because my daughter will go there. So
That's nice.
Our church in Clare, we go to church. We say church in Clare, but our church does that too on Friday.
On Friday.
Do they do that too?
Yeah.
They
No,
do
this
something
church.
like that? Yeah,
No.
They don't do anything anymore. I know they used to have a lot of stuff for.
So how soon do you think that whenever you win, how soon do you think that these things can happen for us? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're out here campaigning and you're saying, you know, you want to do this and that and the third, how can the voter, you know, when can they expect to see change? Like, what's the process?
Well, it's not going to be overnight. So I'll be doing town hall meetings.
Okay.
In the beginning, probably once a month. And
Okay.
eventually every 2 months.
Cool.
To explain the process to everyone. So you can be involved in it, so you can actually see the change. A lot of stuff I'm already doing.
Okay.
So Take Action Mall Valley, been doing that since 2014 with no funding.
Okay.
Just been doing it.
Okay.
But we just got this. That's happening regardless.
Okay.
That's what we're working on now.
Okay.
So that's going down regardless. A lot of it we're already doing.
Okay.
But when we win, and I'm not an island, I'm not alone, I have a team, that's why I say we. So when we win, we'll be doing those town hall meetings to update everybody. And we'll have them in different sections of McKeesport. Because maybe I have a car and I can't get downtown, I can't get here. So we'll have the town hall meetings in different sections. We'll have a strategic plan. Will be a community strategic plan, so everybody will know what we're working on. Everybody will be a part of that process. We'll streamline a lot of these things. Council meetings will be streamlined. The town hall meetings will be streamlined. You can go online and look at it. Say if you're not available, you can go online and look at it and say, "Oh, what did I miss?" So community.
That's huge
there'll
in
be
2019, because everybody got one of these, and this is where
Right.
they get their information from, whether it's true or not.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Instead of
true.
things going down right under your nose and you're not aware.
And let me just click on me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because then that's the next meeting. I'll go, because you know. So that's huge. That's huge.
Definitely.
That's huge.
Definitely. And we have a lot of authorities and boards. We want to try to rename them to like community action boards or something, and then have more people participate on them, so that people can know what the hell is going on around here, and it shouldn't just be up to council and the mayor.
Okay.
Rejuvenate the inner city. That's what it sounds like. It gives somebody something to look forward to.
We'll focus on the people. Like I think buildings are great, businesses are great, but we have to focus on the people that live here. We have to build the people that live here up. We have to focus on them. Somebody once said to me, "Well, it sounds like you're just going to make people's lives better." Well, yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. We want to make people's lives better so they can understand that they're the answer to this. This isn't really about me. This is about my community.
Right. And if I'm in a better position, then I have more resources and more opportunity to help my fellow man. Like the other day, when I was picking up my daughter from school, there was a guy walking up the street, and he just out of the blue told me, I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "Hey, how are you?" I was like, "I'm good." He's like, "Man, I'm so happy. I've just celebrated 11 years clean off of crack cocaine." And I had to tell him, I am so proud of you for that. You know, I felt like it was my responsibility to encourage him and let him know you're doing good. And I'm proud of him, and I really am proud of him. So I know sometimes people want to mind their own business or keep it going. They might have a lot of things on their plate too. But I feel like it's important to encourage one another. You know,
Definitely. You never know how far your encouragement goes.
Right.
But what else was I gonna ask you? I wanted to know too, as far as whenever you guys start doing things downtown, as far as trying to build the city back up downtown McKeesport, are you going to try to bring in more? I don't want to say black businesses, but black businesses. I was trying to word it to the daytime devices, but as far as like shops and things like that. Even like the gas stations and things like that. Is there any way that we can start trying to help our people know how to obtain these types of things so we can have Black-owned gas stations and convenience stores in?
Right, because just to piggyback off what you're saying, we were pretty disheartened by the stuff that happened at that Exxon on the north side. And I think some people might fear that could happen to us, and maybe to a certain degree, on a smaller scale, it may has happened to some people by maybe getting cheated out of their money or, just not being treated well by business owners in the community. So, I'm sorry.
No, because I know someone who was supposedly was going to open a gas station probably like 4 or 5 years ago, but I just never heard anything else about it. It was a black guy in their inner city, but I just never.
They
heard
probably made it so hard for them that they just quit.
And that's what I'm saying.
They just quit.
These are the type of things we need to know, because you could get 5 investors with $5,000 a piece and then get a loan from the bank to be able to start a business up like that, but no one knows how to do it.
And what better to have people interact with people in the community than somebody who is aware of the community and how the community runs. I feel like I would be able to interact with you better since I'm from here and I know the culture of the city,
Absolutely, because culture isn't always race. It's about, where you're at. So definitely, one thing on our platform is to increase contracts with minority and women businesses.
Definitely.
So we actually have a county office that focuses just on that. When I was on council, I was over the McKeesboro Business District Authority, and we brought them here out Renty, and we had a whole workshop on how you can get certified. Your business can become certified as a minority or women business, which will increase your contract opportunities with the county.
Okay.
So that's something that definitely, and I've asked that question several times while on council. How many contracts do we have with minority businesses and women businesses? So we don't have a lot. So we need more. Definitely. So that's definitely something that we would focus on, is increasing those commercial contracts, the contracts with minority and women business owners.
Definitely.
We need to definitely increase that. So we definitely would have that more. We have some now, but we definitely need more. And when you're looking at a place like McKeesport, we're dying. Let's just be honest. Black and brown people are dying in McKeesport. That's the issue of humanity. Everybody should be concerned about that.
Yes,
so that's why when people say, "Oh, you're being divided," no, like this is something that I don't care what color you are. People are dying. Kids are dying. People are dying. Right, they're dead. So everybody, that's a problem that we all should be concerned with. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your race is. I don't care where you live at. We're dying in high numbers. We have less than 20,000 people in this city. Our crime rate should not be as high as it is. Right. It is really bad.
But how do you get somebody out of that survival mode?
Excuse me.
Because that's basically, we always talk about that on this podcast, how black people live in a survival mode instead of investing for the future and building a future for their kids and things like that. Right. How do you transition out of survival mode into investing? Like, I know you might have apprenticeships and job fairs and things like that come into the city, but if I need to pay my rent the next day, I'm probably going to be out on the corner instead of going to the job fair just because I got to survive out here.
Right.
So
you're going to forego this thing that could enhance your future for the here and now.
Yeah, so how can you transition somebody out of that survival mode?
I think it's an ongoing.
Oh, you know what? Can I just add on to what he said? I think me and you talked about this before too. What is it like? Every child has dreams, and at what point did you give up on your dreams? And what is it that we can do to help people understand that your dream is still attainable, even as if you're a teenager, even if you're an adult, you can still work towards that. Because I think a lot of it has to do with people giving up hope.
Oh yeah.
And being able to
but
do
those
it.
programs she's talking about, those is going to help the people who want it. I feel like those issues is the people who want it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may have a bill coming up and going to the corner to go get it, but you know that this class is going to put you in a position where
a lot of people suffer from depression though, and they might not even, and they might not go to the corner and do it, but they have the fear and the anxiety of stepping out and actually going to a program, they would rather just somber and feel bad about their situation.
Mhm.
There's a lot
Because
of
they
people
feel like
that's that.
it might not be possible anymore.
But it's a depression thing, I feel like,
It's mental
too.
health. Definitely.
Yeah.
Right, so what is it that we can do to help people feel like it's possible? What you want to do is even possible.
I think we have to. We
Because-
gotta change.
Yeah.
We gotta change the narrative.
Yeah.
A lot of times in the key sport, we're so stuck and we're traumatized. We're all walking in a state of trauma. We talk like that. We speak that. But there are successful people in the key sport. There's a lot of good things going on. There's a lot of people who have degrees. There's a lot of people who work. There's a lot of people starting businesses. So I think we have to change the narrative of how we speak about our own community. So there's a lot of good things going on here. We have to speak that, and then we have to be actionable about it. It gets to a point where you can't keep talking about how bad something is. What the hell are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do about it? So the way that I'm looking at McKeesport is more that ecological model of systemic change. You're talking about communities. So if you think about it, there's like a child in the middle, and then all these systems around that child should be working together. So the community system, the school system, the individual system, the family
The
system.
village.
Yeah, the village. Everybody should be kind of working together positively. So we have to just infiltrate McKeesport with positive things, positive programs, change the narrative.
I can't wait. I'm excited. Doesn't that make you feel excited?
It does.
That's possible for your community and for your kids. Like, you know what I'm
putting
saying?
water on the flowers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
it is possible.
so people
Help
need
me
to.
know what my role is in the village.
But I feel like also it's cool for these programs to be there, but the word has to get out too.
Yes, the word
has to get out. Like, and it's like, if you do become mayor, I want you to still be personable with everybody and be able to let you have those personable conversations to that mother that may need a job and she can't find a daycare because she got to take 2 buses and travel to Pittsburgh, like, and help her get a job inside of our community. Like, it's good to be able to talk to somebody, and if they have the tools to help them out, you know what I mean?
But I want you to make sure. I want you to hold me accountable
to
that. Like if you see me not doing that, hold me accountable.
Because I know it's like a leaking pipe. There's so many holes in it. So when you become mayor, you're gonna have to try to patch up all these holes.
Right.
We don't want anything
So hold
to
me
get lost.
accountable. Like pull me to the side. Like Fawn, you know, like that's. I work for y'all, so hold me accountable to make sure that I'm doing what I say.
It's a lot, though. You know, that's a lot.
But I won't be doing it alone.
All the crimes that happen in McKeesport, like I've never heard the mayor speak about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never, like all the, and I'm just thinking it's like now, like all the crime, all the murders. Like just let me just put that out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
since it's election time.
I've never seen him comforting a family, or even saying how tragic it is, or even saying that what he's going to do about it moving forward. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. I haven't either.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm just saying. Like now
that
now that I'm sitting here thinking, like I've never seen that and as much stuff that goes on over here. He's had more than enough opportunities to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's crazy to say that. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to say that, but he's had more than enough opportunities to let us know he cares. Like, you know what I'm saying, about whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like in the community, like, we need that. So maybe, the average person looking at that, like, oh, well, the mayor really cares. Maybe we should stop. Or, you know what I'm saying? There's people who really care. Like,
we're desensitized, so you don't feel like,
it
don't matter if I go over there and do. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But now that he won our vote, I bet you.
Yeah, but I think that goes back to us acting like we care too. Because it pains me to even say this. It's gotten to the point where you hear gunshots outside and you're like, oh, somebody over there shooting again.
Sad.
You know what I mean?
We think it's normal. It's not.
Yeah.
No.
But until you get out of McKeesport, you don't know that.
That's how I feel about my kids to death. And it's really sad and it's really scary. Like, they'll say something about somebody dying and it could be their peer and they don't even
They're
blink.
desensitized about
Like, you know what I'm saying? And when,
but
you
remember, you don't even realize that's not normal until you go out into the road. And then it's like, Eric, you lost that many people? That's not normal.
And you can remember, like, when we were younger, I remember a death, I was traumatized. I was devastated. Like I feel
How
like
could
you
this
know
be?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if it happened in the community, like the community stopped. Like you know what I'm saying. When Jamal Neal got killed, everybody came.
I remember
The
that.
community stopped. Like
I
it
remember.
shut down. We didn't have school. Like it was a whole. Like it was a deal. Like
I
you know what I'm saying. It
remember.
was tragic.
Mhm.
Like you know what I'm saying. Especially
And I was
for
really little at that time.
especially for how it happened. Like that was like traumatizing for
Yeah.
us. Like you know what I'm saying. That happens over McKeesport, and it's just like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying.
We
It's
have
like
great counselors.
Yeah,
on hand, but,
even the
you know,
schools, even the
man.
schools' response. That was another thing the kids have brought up to us, like their response to when their classmates died. Like they're not allowed to like have vigils. They don't really talk about it a lot.
Oh, really?
shut it out. Like that's crazy.
That's
Yeah, they
crazy.
don't-
You
they
know
don't-
about that vigils?
And they have grief counselors for certain things. So it's not a consistent thing all the time. It's for me. My daughter has lost 6 classmates. 6. She's only 15.
What?
She's lost 6 classmates. Yeah.
That's
But then,
horrific. As a parent, that's like.
but then when those emotions become like compartmentalized, and then they might act out in other ways.
Or
If you let it, yes.
PTSD.
Yeah.
If you let
A
them,
lot of that be like PTSD.
Yeah, we
You
all
don't
have
even know.
we all have PTSD.
Yeah.
Definitely the trauma piece. That mental health piece is so important.
I think so.
I did a study with Montauk and Western Psych like 3 years ago down there in downtown McKeesport about the mental health. I was part of a board down there for about mental health in McKeesport. So they was trying to put together a program. I ended up stopping because the times of the meetings I ended up switching my work schedule. Yeah, so I don't know what happened with it, but they're doctors and stuff. They were very in tune to what was going on with the alcohol. Like the people that use their mental health medicine and don't take it, and they use alcohol instead, and you know it was a big issue for them, and they were puzzled about how is this still going on and nothing's going on, like how they just sit at the that pavilion that used to be there. It was like, what's going on? Why isn't no one even trying to help these people?
And I know that there's a huge stigma, particularly in the Black community, about going to go see a therapist. I'm very vocal about, I've seen a therapist, and guess what? I can't wait to go back. But I think people need,
that's what you need.
Right,
Like,
and I don't think people should feel shame in it. Actually, I kind of take my hat off to anybody who's working towards bettering themselves, or because that's like the that's a sickness that doesn't have any outer
we're different.
Right.
Yeah,
so people don't really take it as serious because they can't see it. Right.
Or some people might like the way they don't want to be on drugs. They don't want to be on any type of pills or anything like that. And they feel like that the therapist might be their suggestion.
Well, a therapist doesn't prescribe.
Well, it might be their suggestion to go to what is it?
A psychiatrist.
Yeah. You don't, like I say, you don't have to do it.
You don't have to.
I think around McKeesport, and we have Montauk, but we need, and Montauk does this, but we need more resources culturally responsive to what is going on around here. We are we are all traumatized. We are a community that is deeply traumatized. We have to talk about that. And it is a stigma in the Black community. And we got to talk about that as well. Prayer is not therapy. Those are they're not the same things. They do not go together. You have to go to actual, like I've been a therapist.
Nor is your pastor a therapist.
And sometimes pastors can be a certified therapist.
They can.
But it's not therapy. So you have to actually go to a therapist, deal with your trauma, deal with your demons. Talk about it. It is not normal the way we live around here. It is not normal to have this much death. It is not a normal thing. And we have to talk about that. We have to address the mental health. We need more culturally responsive mental health resources and available to us. Because we cannot get out of the city sometimes. Car-wise, transportation-wise. Sometimes people work different shifts. So the programs that we're going to have are going to be different times of the day. We need child care available. That's a huge piece to this. It's a huge piece of
child care.
Yeah, affordable child care.
And what about overnight?
Right. People work
or non-traditional hours. Period.
People work all different kind of hours. I think somebody had posted something about and this has nothing to do with my election, but posted something about the who's watching your kids,
Mm-hmm.
and the boyfriend's hurting the kids. And I said another part of that conversation though is fair wages and these jobs not allowing these parents to leave to go take care of their kids. So they don't do that at work. Traditionally, people just tell you to work it out.
I know, that's why I thank God that my job is really good with work-life balance, and I work from home a lot, and I'm really happy about that. But I know everybody doesn't get that opportunity. But also, even with when it comes, aside from the crime rate, I feel like we need to do a better job of just cultivating better relationships between people, between
other areas.
Right.
Yeah, we really do. They just had a fundraiser for me in Bread Out.
Oh, okay.
And people were saying, well, why Bread Out? I said, why not Bread Out? You got to have relations with people. You can't improve any area by staying in your area. So you have to get out. So I built relate with people outside of this county, from Pittsburgh to Bread Out to Clarendon to Duquesne to everywhere, because you have to have relationships with people and just know what other people are doing. We all have the same issues here, especially in the valley. We got crime, we got transportation issues, we got low economic development. So we have to make sure we're all talking because it's shared success. So you got to have good, positive relationships with everybody, not just people in McKeesport. We don't win that way.
Right.
We have to learn from other things and learn what other people are doing. There's a lot of good things going on in Bread Out now, development-wise and change.
And it is, and that could be us, because they got new businesses over there. They got, buildings going up over there. You can tell they cleaned up in their downtown area, just over there in Bread Out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I used to live over that way, like, you know what I'm saying, as a little girl. So I see the difference, just like I'm from Duquesne. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you did not grow up over there, and you was to go over there today, the things that are gone, like, you wouldn't never even knew existed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ran through there today, you would never know that it was a vibrant city, just like McKeesport. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we used to come from Duquesne to come to McKeesport because it was cracking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had a hotel down here, like the Midtown area. There was all types of stores, and
crazy.
It was crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just it won't be like it was,
right?
Like, you know what I'm saying, but it could be better than it is now. Like, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason why it can't be. Like, you know what I'm saying, and people just have to want it. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, I want it, you want it, but there might be you want it, like, you know what I'm saying, she want it, but it's 50 people who don't want it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But if everybody works together and we all have the betterment of the city in mind, why can't it be better than it was?
Because there's some people that still suffer from the mental health thing. So the hands that we need to get involved. It takes a commitment from everybody. Yeah, and the people that's too depressed to get up off their couch to help and just watching us build it, they're going to become bitter. So somehow, some way, we got to.
Well, she's going to implement a program tackling mental health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just need that part first,
with the addressing that.
Yeah, we have to. The mental health piece is so huge.
And then you just have. I think you'll have to stress the people to be patient with you too, because I see a lot of people did that with Barack Obama as far as wanting to change everything overnight.
Right, because we are in a time of instant gratification, so people think soon as get a vaccine, what's
touchy about that because of the Jay-Z thing with the
yeah. But she's a victim of that too.
Yeah, I know I'm not. But I think y'all misunderstood.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, but
that's
something else.
Okay.
We were listening to you, but you said that you needed something like right now. Once he spoke up,
you see how she has a plan. Jay-Z didn't have it.
Okay,
but being mayor is different than somebody. If I came to Kenya and just was like, all right, I want you to be my VP of marketing. And we're going to hold this big press conference. I don't expect her to already have a game plan in place.
Are you talking about his supposed social justice response?
With the NFL,
Yeah, that's not a social justice response.
No, just like well, first of all, Jay-Z shouldn't even be talking at all as far as for PR. He should have somebody talking.
But that's what he said, though, right? He said
it was a clip.
That this was... No, that's what he said, that this was going to
Oh,
This is
yeah.
going to address social justice.
Well-
So to somebody who's as involved in the movement as I am,
Mhm.
that's not social justice at all. Not he's not there yet. I don't know. I think it could have been done better.
I think it could have been done better, but I'm not discrediting him yet until
See.
yeah, I'm not, you know what I mean?
See.
I'm not going to discredit it. Like, I'm not going to say the cake is nasty before it even is baked. Like,
From a social justice standpoint.
And
or
then-
just period, yeah.
And then
just-
too, people
I am.
have different approaches to things.
Yes.
Like, you know
Yes,
what I'm
they
saying?
do.
Like,
They
people have
do.
different approaches to do things. So, you know, I guess we just gotta see. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They
Like
do.
her speaking out right now,
Mhm.
saying that, you know, the things that she is going to put in place. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for the average person going to go vote, like, you know what I'm saying? And she wins, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so then,
Like you said, you was gonna do this.
yeah, like, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
my
But
God.
you
So-
didn't say you was gonna do it.
Crazy.
And I feel like
They
that's the
already-
difference. You said this is your role, okay, entertainment, and then you're gonna do social justice. But he didn't have no plan. So what do we hold him accountable for? Because I didn't hear anything, and that's where I'm most concerned about. Like, what are you like? He had to. If they say, "Hey, Jay-Z, we want you to come on and handle X, Y, and Z for us," is he gonna say okay and then announce the next day that the NFL told? No. Apparently, they discussed this. So you didn't say okay. As the person who's in charge of entertainment, social justice, these are the things that I feel like we need to address right now.
So can I say
Or going
something?
forward. He didn't do that.
But what I'm saying is it's not Jay-Z, it's Rock, what is it, Live Nation or Rock Nation?
Okay.
It's not Jay-Z. Jay-Z might be the head, but he might have people in
The
place
face
to help.
of it.
Yeah,
Just wanna
he's the
do
face
that,
of it,
so-
but he might already have his people in place doing that. So
So
he,
I feel like we need to hold him accountable, and that
Absolutely.
from my standpoint, y'all are okay with not holding him
no,
accountable.
I'm just saying it's happening in what? July's November right
No,
now.
I'm-
I mean October right
I'm gonna hold
now.
him accountable.
But
Like,
just
I
give
just
him a
wanted to
year.
see.
Can we-
Like,
can
you know
we
what I'm
get-
saying? It's
can
like,
we get
man,
one
her
fiscal
getting
year?
it, I'm gonna hold her
Can we give him
accountable,
one
but
year?
I want to see. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm with Jessica.
But what are
You
you
can't
trying to
give
hold
me
him
1 year?
accountable for?
Well, we're getting in there because
if
he-
Fawn said, if
I'm
Fawn
just
came here and
going
said,
out.
"Yeah, I want to be mayor," and then you'd be like, "Okay, well, we'll go ahead and vote you in. We'll see what you're gonna do,
Yeah.
and then we'll hold her accountable later."
So he
So
did
what
not never mention that it was going to be different, far as anything that's going on. You
Well,
know,
that's
it-
social
it-
justice. Though.
Well, he was talking about doing the free concerts to build money up to help for social justice.
Then he gave his
issues.
money to the agency that cut the blocks off of it. Like, come on.
So
Like there's a lot of I just don't connect the dots. To me, I don't see Jay-Z is a capitalist and he's not an advocate. He's not an actor. He's not an activist. He's getting money off of this. The people he's bringing in to perform Super Bowl are getting money off of this. But Kaepernick doesn't have a job. Black and brown players in the NFL are not able to speak and be free and be black and be able to speak about issues and not get punished. It's still issues. It's almost like a dog and pony show at this point.
So who's to say he's not going to do those things? He just didn't speak about doing them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if he's in that place right now, you know what I'm saying, and there's a year or whatever go past and nothing has changed,
then
like,
we
you know what I'm
could-
saying? So
yeah,
then we
like,
could be
then-
like, oh, okay, just because he didn't say those things,
But
like,
the
I don't,
players are saying
like,
he's
you know
not
what I'm
doing
saying?
it.
That's just now, and like I said,
But he wouldn't be working with the players.
But
He
for
would be
me,
working with the
the
NFLPA.
season's already over. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The
So
union.
I'm going to be looking for
You can't
him
make
to
changes
do
or
some
work with people directly
changes.
affected by it.
But he would have to work with the union, not the
next
players,
season.
because the players got a
Yeah,
responsibility.
but why couldn't the NFL do that with the players' union?
Right.
No, I don't think that.
Huh?
Why couldn't they do that with the players'
The
union?
players
If
are already
already there.
There's players already
Because they don't
working
even
on
like the head of the union. The dude that's the head of the union, he keeps making bad deals with the NFL, and that's what that's why it goes nowhere as far as like the person who's running the NFLPA always like does the bad deals with the NFL owners. So it messes up with the players. So they need to get the dude out. He's a black dude too. They need to get him out though because they say that he's a puppet for the owners basically.
So what is Jay-Z?
I don't know what he is yet. I mean, we gotta see.
Don't
I'm not. Somebody take a job. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
you don't think
criticize
that's a
somebody's
problem?
job 2 months down the line. That's just me. I'm
the
just
things
gonna
that he
wait.
has done are not for social justice. He gave the money to groups in Chicago who had clear issues with social justice and how they treat their black and brown kids. That's a problem.
Mhm.
If you claim that this is
Oh, that
about
was the one.
social
That's the
justice,
lot.
I mean, they have
okay.
said problematic things in the past about race, but you give them money. Like, I just don't see it helping social justice issues or any community except for his pocket. I just don't see it yet.
Not yet.
If it happens, great.
And do you like? Okay, maybe that's like the first
Yeah,
thing he
I'll
did.
say.
Okay, even giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he wasn't aware that this is the organization that did that. But in and of itself, that's a problem.
Yeah, he just definitely
Especially
did his
for
background
you to have
check.
that
It's
big
a
of
Google
I'll
a
say that. Yeah,
It's
that's
a
a
Google
Google
search,
search.
right?
I'll say that's a problem.
It's
Now,
a Google search.
and again, maybe they might have some ties to somebody on Rock
Yeah.
Nation. Might have some ties with somebody in that organization. That's why they did it directly to that organization. So I don't know, but that's terrible that he didn't do his research. I will say that. But as far as I'm gonna give him a whole year.
Give him some time.
All right.
Well, I guess somebody made a post that Tyler Perry is doing what we think Jay-Z's doing. But it did take Tyler Perry a while
Yeah.
to build
I
up
am
to that
so
point.
excited about Tyler Perry
Yes.
and what he's doing in Hollywood. I think it's
yes.
amazing, and I might have to change my mentor that I don't know and piggyback off here to Tyler Perry.
Tyler
Yeah, he's
Perry.
doing some
I'm
good
gonna do
things.
that because I think
And he said at
And
an
he gets
award
so
show
much-
or
he
something
gets so much
a
money.
couple of months ago, like make
Yeah.
sure when you do some shit, you own that shit.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying, and he's living that. Like you know,
Yeah.
he's standing in that. So I think that's like
Went from
That's
sleeping
yeah,
in
like
his car to
yeah, like
employee.
that's like awesome.
Yeah,
He took responsibility of whatever happened in his life and his journey, and kept moving forward. Moving forward. We need that as a community.
See, that's why
Okay, you know
Monique-
what I mean? Like we
It's a
need
process.
that.
That's why Monique
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah,
have burned her bridge,
Yeah.
man. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, so that's huge.
That's a separate issue.
What, the Monique is
Yeah, Monique
she,
is a separate issue.
she needs to humble herself. That's all.
It did my girl dirty.
They did Monique
Yeah,
dirty.
they did.
And I think I'm majorly disappointed with how the black community treated her.
Now, as far as
And specifically, well, no, I can't even
the
say
ones that's
specifically
on
black men,
Mount
the black
Rushmore,
community in general.
she kind of
Like,
disrespected the ones that's on Mount Rushmore. Though she never really apologized completely for that.
Did she have to? Or she just
Yeah,
called
like-
it a spade a spade? Like, but you're taking more of a Steve Harvey stance.
No, I'm not. All right, so I'm not. She could have said what she said, but then I feel like she should apologize.
No, I feel
Because
like,
I feel like she said it in a
I don't think
disrespectful, rude way.
well, maybe she could have more positively positioned it.
It is,
But
but
I
she
don't
put it
really
on.
feel like she should backtrack what she said, maybe frame it in a different way.
Yeah, you shouldn't be telling us
but
Oprah
if
and
that's how
answer the D.
she,
Like
I
I
wouldn't
think at
say
that
that.
point, you probably cut off all future ties with Oprah.
right?
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if she cares. I mean, we always expect black women, right, to be respectable, but nobody else.
No,
Exactly.
I feel like that's I feel like that's the same thing with Antonio Brown. How
And
you
if
talking
we
about
don't-
how he wants
if we're not,
to
then
be
we're
back on the
angry.
Patriots, but
Like,
you want to
honestly-
sit that tweet out about Robert Kraft. You're
He's a
not
mess.
going to,
He's
you know
a
what I mean?
Right.
But
Yes.
you know what I mean? But you're not going to sit up here and disrespect somebody who holds it. Like, there's a way you could do it without. He could have said that they treat white people different than black people when
Yeah.
it comes to punishment. He didn't have to put Robert Kraft's name into that tweet. That's the same thing about Monique. She could have said it in a better way than
He said
that's
it.
my D. You don't tell somebody who's like a gatekeeper that suck it.
Gatekeepers are interesting things. We have a lot of gatekeepers around here. We gotta ask ourselves, are they really gatekeepers?
Yeah,
I'm not
we
speaking
gotta-
of Oprah.
no, but
I'm
you talking
talking
about
about the
hair.
key sport.
Yeah,
There's
and
a lot of
but see,
gatekeepers,
that's why
right?
when you was talking about that Constitution with the man, I think something like that needs to be abolished.
The charter.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Like that's too much power.
It is. And even to get rid of it, has to be referendum. So we would have to get a certain number of signatures for people that voted in the last election to get it on the ballot, and the people of McKeesboro have to vote to get rid of it.
So the person.
Oh, well, that's huge.
It's
We
probably-
need to know that.
It's
Yeah,
probably
we need to
crazy
know
because
that.
the family who probably was when that law or rule first became, the family who's probably extorting the mayor, they're probably still trying to like extort and bribe the mayor to get things done that they want done.
Something's
Because there's
happening.
no
It's not what we want.
vote on things. That's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at it because we could either get rid of it or just change it.
Mhm.
But to
Yeah.
even change it, the public has to approve it. Yeah, it's like it's just local politics. I always speak about it because it's so important. it's way more important than your national, your federal
Right,
politics.
because you're directly.
It's directly and there's so much corruption that happens locally because nobody knows, nobody asks questions, they don't understand how it's structured.
So what's your game plan within this next 3 weeks before? What's like? What do you want to get your message out that you want people to know about?
Door knock. So we've been knocking on doors like crazy. I'll be knocking on doors till I leave here. So we're gonna be door knocking. We'll be, doing podcasts. We'll be doing Whammo. Many opportunities we have to get our word out to let people know. November 5th, go and vote. We'll be door knocking, talking to people out constantly. Anywhere we can kind of, make our faces visible to people. But people just have to understand that. They deserve better here in McKeesport. And we can do this. There is no they. People say, oh, they ain't go, there's no they. We're the they.
And remind the voters what the process is once they get to the polls, especially the first time voter. Because there might be somebody that's seen you and got encouraged and they're like, okay, I registered, I'm going to go out and vote for you. Let them know how to do that.
So once you're registered to vote, you should get a voter registration card and it'll tell you where to actually go and vote. So you go and vote. If it's your first time voting, you have to bring some kind of ID. So that'd be your license or a bill that has your address on it. If it's your first time voting at that polling place.
Now,
they want to validate your address.
They want to say only if it's your first time at that polling place. But if you voted during the past, you don't need an ID. You should go and your name should be there. So in order to vote for me, actually, you have to skip the ticket. Don't hit any particular ticket and go and find my name. I'm an independent candidate.
Okay, yep.
So I don't belong to any particular party.
Yeah.
So you have to skip that option and just go and find my name.
Well, that's big. That's a message you need to drill because I know that it's just a lot of just.
Yeah, hitting the ticket.
Right, and I think that's important. I think it kind of signifies you being able to think for yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to just go in there and hit the straight ticket and leave and say you voted. You know what I mean? But I feel like when you go in there, actually take the time. If you take the time to know exactly what each candidate is talking about and what they're going to do, what their plans are for whatever area that they represent, then you'll be able to go down and say, oh.
Some of those registration things are intimidating though when you never did it before. And I would want to say that we need people who like, I don't know if it's because they do it all day long and they're like, after a while they're just numb to just showing any type of help or anything. But it's sometimes you go in there, it seems like the people that's working there don't want to help, and it's just like, what do I do?
Those people volunteer, don't they? Those people that work the polls or whatever. And I just wanted to make a point about, some voters, they don't care really who is running. They
vote Democrat or
Republican. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are those people, like, you know what I'm saying? So explain a little bit about the independent, like, and you running independent.
Can I piggyback off of that for a second? I hope there's a way to get people out of that because people a lot of times are voting against their own interests and don't
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm an independent because basically I feel like both parties suck and they haven't done a lot for any community, period, especially McKeesport. I don't feel like they listen to the residents of McKeesport a lot. The interest just isn't. Our interest isn't in it. We're not in their best interest, party-wise. There's a lot of party politics that go into play when you're part of a party. I did not want to do that. I've always been a people person. I've always been out here serving the people. I never played that game too well because I've always been a people person for the people. So that's why I'm independent. There's a stronghold that parties have had over McKeesport for years. Status quo politics. It's been the same. I am not that. That's why I am independent. So with the independent party, what that means is that you don't belong to any of the major parties, which is Democrat and Republican. But there's also the Green Party. You can make up a party when you're independent. So you can be within any party that you
The Tea Party.
Like socialist. You can do whatever you want to do. So that's why I'm independent. So This is the general election because there's a primary and a general election.
Okay.
So November 5th is a general election. I didn't have to run in the primary because I'm not in a party.
Okay.
So in the state of Pennsylvania, we have a closed primary, meaning that only Democrats and Republicans can vote in it.
Okay.
So if you're an independent, you can't participate in the primary at all.
Okay.
So I didn't have to worry about the primary. I just had to worry about the general election in November.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't understand the difference between the two. So that's why when you go vote in November, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. So you have to skip that ticket option and go and find my name.
No,
This is the general election.
They got to come up with a better method.
I totally
That's
agree.
terrible because I feel like
Totally
that's putting you
agree.
behind the
Yeah.
8 ball. Just
Or easy for her to
the
just get left out. 'Cause,
Exactly.
Like, I'm the voter, I'm coming to
Yeah,
vote
boom, boom,
Democratic,
boom, I'm
and
done.
Democratic, and I don't know, I don't
Yeah.
care who it is, I'm just gonna be like,
And then
like,
people
you know,
might
so-
automatically assume that you're a Democrat, so when they don't see you on the ticket, they're like, oh, that's
Shady, like, where's the information? Like, you know?
But
Yeah.
I think it's the duty for the volunteers to let people know that too. But I think they get wore out. I think after a certain time, and it just be like.
Well, the people that actually work the polls for the county are paid.
Okay.
So it's up to the candidate to have people there.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're definitely looking for poll workers.
Yeah.
To work the
Okay,
polls for us to
okay.
kind of explain that.
Yeah.
It's on all of our signs. It's on our billboard. We have on our Dunkin' Donuts. It's on all of my signs.
Okay.
Independent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skip that ticket and just find my name and hit the button, basically.
Alright.
All right. So in order to wrap things up here, does anybody have any final thoughts or questions? for Fawn?
No, I'm very impressed.
That's what I was about to say. There are a lot of people who just didn't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or just was intimidated. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that this was a good thing. A good
Well, I knew you, but I didn't know you. And as far as I didn't know your policies, and like I said, a lot of people might have thought you were a Democrat. And then also, as far as some of the postings and things like that, some people might have thought you were divisive. Me being one of them, you know what I mean? But as far as sitting down, letting you talk, and actually hearing what you have to do, I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I'm ready to go out and help and try to get this city back on what it needs.
Right. As a member of the community, I definitely feel excited. And I just want to tell everybody to go out and vote. I'm really happy that you wanted to come here
Yeah, me too.
and talk about all of the great things that you want to do for the city. I also want everybody to know that her opponent is more than welcome to come here too.
absolutely. We would love to have
He would
him
like
here.
to come. He could come and talk about what he wants to do.
We
for the
need
city
it. We
as
actually
well.
need it. There's a need for it. Like, we need it.
Well, the other big question would be what you were saying that I really didn't realize as far as for the people that's grieving, how, like what's going on. Maybe he does do things behind the scenes, and I don't know.
Well, I need to see it. Just like when I come out my house, I need to see, what's going on if my tax dollars are supposed to be used for those things. So I just need to see it. Fetterman was very vocal and proud.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you know
was.
what I'm
He
saying?
was, very.
And even the things that happen over in Homestead, you will see that little old lady out there, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, like, she's letting me know that she
People
knows,
wanna know you care.
at least, whether she cares or not, she is seen and she knows about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? For all I know, do he even know? I know he knows, but I'm
you
just
to be
saying,
out
like, you know
there,
what I mean?
At least you're making people feel like you care.
Right.
Even if you
And if we could get
Right.
a woman in the mayor's seat, that would speak volumes to what people, for women to give done to politics. I feel like that'll help out a lot of, because when we were growing up, I never thought about being a councilman or in the because everybody on the board was all white. And it was older people. So, even seeing Corey and Jim and all of them on the board, and then if we can get the mayor seat and it be a minority woman, that'll speak volumes and to help out with the young youth, the politics and learning politics.
It's always been a passion of mine. I was on the AAIU board, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had a board or whatever, and my job didn't allow me to participate fully. So I like that that down for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's been rekindled like recently. Like, you know what I'm saying? To be like more in.
But that's what I want to learn how to do.
Yeah.
How
so
do you?
It's always been a thing for me.
How can you switch that into not being your primary job, or you just gotta apply? Like, because I mean, there's people that love to do like you know what I mean, work, but then their real job has that conflict, like where you're gonna be missing those meetings and things like that.
You know, but just to rebut what you said about even like the city council seats and everything, to me, it really does not matter what color the person is. I need somebody who I know genuinely cares about the city and revitalizing it. Like, it doesn't matter. So I mean,
they need more people like us to be involved in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
fairness, like, you know what I
go
mean?
to the city council meetings and everything. That's one thing. And I don't play my part, and I need to play my part more. But I don't be knowing the information. So, I mean, most 99% of it's my fault, but there's that 0.1% that the information is nowhere. Like, basically, you know what I mean? That's something we need to start getting out.
Until something happens to you that involves the city, you're going to know whenever those school board meetings are or what time, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to know.
Right.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Once something happened, I was
I'm
like,
there now.
Let me find out. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And we have challenged my opponent to a debate, but he has yet to respond.
Okay.
So hopefully, whether Mayor Shrupko decides to come here and speak with us, I would really like to see a debate between you both. But if that doesn't happen, I want to let him know, if that doesn't happen between now and November 5th, we are here if he would like to come and speak with us.
And even if he doesn't do the debate, I really would just like him to say something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything. Like, you know.
Because right now it feels like he thinks he's a shoo-in.
Yeah, like, I just feel like he needs to say something. Like, you know what I mean? Anything.
So, with that being said.
We will try this one more time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. Have a great day. Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
Oh, man, that was good. I like that.